Hello.
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 And welcome to a very ghost-inspired episode of the Weekend Superheroes Podcast. Today is Monday, November 7th, and sitting in front of me, as always, is Darius, Pat, and Steve. How you guys doing today?
Shout out.
Doing amazing.
Today, guys, we are talking about ghosts. That's right, ghosts, spirits, specters, spooks, phantoms, apparitions, and haunts. Do they exist? Why do they exist? And can we actually reach out to them? Pat, do you believe in ghosts?
I do.
Do you really?
I feel like I've seen a ghost before.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
we'll get into that later. Steve?
I do, but I never see anything. I look for shit
You want
all the time, and I want to see stuff. And everyone I know is like, oh, yeah, I've seen ghosts before. And I'm like, oh, I've never seen anything, and I love that shit.
I know, I'm right there with you. D-Man?
I believe in a ghost. I would love to see one in a physical form.
How cool would that be, right?
Yeah.
I'd probably
You can
shit my
actually
pants,
tell
to be
people.
honest.
All right, the definition of a ghost, according to Mr. Webster, an apparition of a dead person that is believed to appear or become manifest to the living, typically as a nebulous image. Whew. I actually went on a ghost hunt in Florida. Yeah, and it was
Did you have to get a license for that?
it was just as weird as you thought it was. And our ghost, whatever,
Guide?
leader guide,
Tour guide?
he looked exactly like a ghost hunter would. He was creepy as shit. But he did tell us three really cool things that stuck to my mind, and I have to tell you guys. So the first one, why do ghosts exist? So it's all about the law of the conservation of mass, the conservation of energy, which states, Pat.
That matter and energy can neither be created nor destroyed.
Right, exactly. So it says,
Damn.
right.
Yeah.
So
Thanks,
it's-
physics.
So the quantity of mass is, quote-unquote, conserved over time. The law tells us that it cannot be created or destroyed. So if this is the case, now we're talking about the conservation of energy. In this example, the group called the Tri-County Paranormal, the TCP. You down with TCP?
Yeah,
you know me.
That was adorable.
States, Albert Einstein said that energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be changed from one form to another. When we're alive, we have an electrical energy in our bodies. It makes our heart beat and breathing possible. So, what happens to the electricity in our body after we have passed on? It's kind of
Elon Musk steals it and puts it in Tesla.
Yeah, it's true. And those new home batteries are coming out with.
Yeah, and the power walls.
It says it's got to go somewhere, so it goes into our environment. That's why the most popular ghost hunting device is an electromagnetic field detector, EMF. You see them on all the ghost hunting shows.
Oh, it's the one with the thing.
The one with the thing and the needle
light.
and the-
So it's one where like Egon's walking
Little
through.
meter
he's like,
goes across.
And that's why whenever people record voices and things like this, they look for something called an EVP, or an electronic voice phenomenon. So what we did,
Oh, I thought it was an executive vice president.
is we actually on the Weekend Superheroes tried to do the Ouija board. It was a nightmare because we were drunk and silly, and,
Yeah. I was a little bit sober.
and I tried.
Darius, I've never seen you sober.
And I tried to get
tried
these
to.
guys serious about it, and my mother would be so ashamed of me if she even knew I did it. But we did pick up some EVPs.
I don't buy this.
So an EVP is, like I said, electronic voice phenomena. It's something whenever you hear the slightest twinge or voice recording, something that you wouldn't pick up with just the naked
I
ear.
feel like this is like on those ghost hunter shows, and they like the leaves rustle, and they're like, oh my god, did you hear that?
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. You listen to it, and you tell me.
All right.
Okay? So,
7 days, you will die.
Darius, go ahead and play the first EVP. Now, they're both the same, just one is a little more enhanced. So see if you guys can pick it up at the bitter end of this EVP. Go ahead. Is there anybody out there
Solid.
that wants to talk to us, that wants to say one thing to us tonight?
Spirits are a tough crowd.
Did you guys pick it up at the end?
No.
No, it sounded.
I heard Darius.
I mean, unless you're talking about us.
No, okay.
I heard Darius.
All right, well, the second one, it's real faint. So you gotta, and if you're driving in the car, turn your volume up as loud as it can go. Darius, go ahead and play that second one. I turn up at the very end. Is there anybody out there
Solid.
that wants to talk to us, that wants to say one thing to us tonight?
Spirits are a tough crowd.
Darius wears ladies' underpants. Did you guys pick that up at the end?
Oh my god! I can't believe it. I'm the total believer now.
It sounded like help me.
It sounded
I'm dying.
familiar though. Like, it might have been someone from my past that said that.
Was it like, help me or help? I need help. What did you guys hear?
I think it was Sasquatch, actually.
I'm fucking done. I can't handle this.
Oh, Steve's broken.
Can I play that ending again?
You know, and that's weird because I just always thought Darius never wore any of it.
You know what? I'm kind of pissed off because, like, when he told me about, like,
Yeah.
yeah, we picked some voices up, I was like, oh, man, this is going to be fucking cool as shit.
Yeah.
And then now...
Steve, no matter what happened, you just would have screamed what kind of bullshit it was, so that's why I had to do that to you. All right, moving on. So question. Why don't we see ghosts during the day? Right? All the movies, and you're scared of the dark. So why don't we see ghosts during the day? Any thoughts?
They're nocturnal. They sleep during the day.
It says, well, if ghosts are energy via, so just say like energy radio waves, how they travel faster without interference. The same way a man in Southern California can pick up an AM radio station from Washington, but only during the day. It's because the absence of the interference from the sun. It's just how energy travels.
Goddamn sun. We should get rid of that
Yeah,
sun.
we should cut that
I'm
thing
getting
out.
tired of it too.
We should nuke
Who
it.
needs daylight?
Yeah.
Just nuke
Yeah.
it.
Can we send Bruce Willis up there with a nuke?
Yeah.
So the last thing my ghost hunting creep guide told me is the one thing that Hollywood got right is that ghosts all seem to float. He said, okay, so how about this? Does anyone know why? Can anyone guess as to why the ghosts would float?
Maybe they cannot touch the earth because they don't exist physically.
Yeah, 'cause they're
Something
not of
close to
this
that?
world, so they can't.
Magnetic waves.
You just science.
Yeah,
Yeah.
science.
Just got to use that
D-Man
science.
just science the
everywhere.
shit out of that.
Why? Science.
So here's why. So ghosts tend to stay back in the time that they died. They're not supposed to have any kind of sense of the present. Basically, the world changes, but they stay the same. So in Gettysburg, right, people would come back and say, wow, that was a great reenactment that just happened. And it's like, we didn't have any reenactment schedule. So they saw an entire reenactment ghost, but they were all floating. But why were they floating? Because back in the day,
People floated back in the day. In the 1800s, that's what you did.
the earth was raised a little bit. In which case, weathering brought the earth back down, but they still believe that they're in the time that they died.
I don't know. If
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about that.
Skeptics, all of you.
So if I don't want ghosts, I can just pile some dirt in my backyard, and they'll all be under the dirt then.
Not a bad idea, Pat.
I just found a surefire defense for ghosts.
Okay, guys, we're going to move on. When our loved ones pass, people yearn for the opportunity for one last word with them. Maybe it was because we so desperately wanted to tell them something, but we never got the chance. Or maybe it was because we missed them so dearly, we'd give our right arm for one final moment. While some remain skeptical, others will reach out for an outlet of communication, a conduit, a bridge, or a medium to reconnect with someone in the afterlife. Sitting with us right now is an extraordinary woman. Originally from Central America, she began seeing spirit people when she was only 5 years old. With this gift, she has helped countless people with her ability to predict the future events, get in contact with those who have crossed over. She has lectured at Duquesne University and IUP. She's been featured in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, Pittsburgh Magazine, and countless other media outlets. The incredible and the lovely Reverend Marjorie Augustine Rivera.
Thank you very much.
Marjorie, how are you feeling today?
I'm really good.
Okay, well, let me start out by saying how brave you are, just coming to some stranger's apartment with four men you've never
Four
met
dudes
before.
I've never met before.
That is a recipe for murder. But I guess you would have seen that coming, right?
I would have. I kept thinking about that on the way here.
Marjorie, we can't thank you enough. I'm just going to shut up now, and I'm going to let you do your thing.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll tell you guys a little bit about how this works for me so that
Great.
you'll understand.
Cool.
For me, this is always a demonstration of my faith. And so what happens is that I believe that the soul is continuous. I believe that the soul exists past the physical transition that we often call death, but that it exists forever. And I like to use my mother as an example when I say this, because if my mother were to die out of her physical body today, her spirit would live on to bitch again tomorrow. So what I always like to think is that if the soul exists somewhere, it's going to have something to say. And so I just make it my business to listen. And for me, this is somewhat of a gentle process because I want to prove that there is an afterlife, and there's a lot of media misrepresentation about what the afterlife is like, and they make it seem kind of scary. But for me, it's not really a scary place. It's an uplifting one. And so I always set my intention to be of service in some capacity, whether it's to you or whether it's to your loved ones who are on the other side. But I like to think that anybody that you have ever loved who is no longer in their body has the ability to try to make me say what they want to say on their behalf. So I become kind of like a ventriloquist dummy for them. Sometimes it's cool, other times it's weird and creepy. But, I'm willing to look like a fool, so it doesn't really matter. All right. I have to say a little prayer if that's okay. I'll just say it
Marjorie.
inside.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. So the very first thing that happens when I start to tune in is a woman, and she made me feel like, I don't know, she was a little bit older, and she's giving me an S name. She could be Susan or Shirley or Sandy or something like this. And she made me feel like she came from a large family, and or she was part of a large family. And I want to say that she also makes me feel like either it was her or someone else that was close to her and that is with her there on the other side had difficulty with their lungs. So who understands the woman that's Susan or Sandy or Shirley and had problems with their lungs?
You're probably, I'm assuming you're going to talk about Shirley. That would be someone who lived with us, my mom's best friend, who was my second mom, and she did pass away from cancer.
Okay, thank you. So almost immediately, she surrounds me with two things. She's very earthy. So she has a lot of green energy around her and a lot of brown. It's like the way that she makes me feel is almost like a pine tree. Like did you see the Eaton Park commercial at Christmas time where the tree dips down? Everybody loves that commercial, right? So she showed me this, and it's like she had this big pine tree that's superimposed over you and her. Like you helped her, but she helped you. Do you see what I'm saying? And she makes me feel very excited because she gets a chance to say thank you because you went out of your way to help her.
All right, well, about 6 months ago, my mother told me a story of, we called her Bees, by the way.
Okay.
And whenever she was dying, she was very sick, and she came downstairs, and Bees was awake when she was supposed to be asleep, and she was staring up at the star and the Christmas tree, and she said, Bees, what are you doing awake? And she said, I just wanted to watch it blink.
Yeah.
That
there
sounds
you
like
go.
bees.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially because that whole commercial was about picking up the
Right,
star, right?
right.
So I'm going to say that's pretty convincing evidence that that's a shared memory that the two of you had, and it's her way to say, hey, guess what? I'm still alive. It's her way to let you know that she's still with you. And boom, she makes me feel like, and right here, like she's always very close to your heart because she was very fond of you and you were very fond of her. Right?
She was the bomb, thank you.
She was the bomb. Thank you. So she gives me a great feeling for you. Now, I'm going to go on to the next person. And so this particular person is a gentleman, makes me feel like he was very hardworking and blue collar. And I see him, there's something about him that reminds me of that actor Kevin James. You guys know who I'm talking about?
Yep.
The one who played the King of Queens or whatever. So he has like a stockier build, and he was very blue collar as well. And there's something about him that makes me feel a little unstable. So I don't know if he had too much medication in him. He had diabetes. He had something that made him like immobile towards the end. I don't know why I felt like he couldn't walk, or he had bad hips or something like that, and everything in me feels complicated. I don't know. So I think he had probably multiple organ failure or lots of different systems that shut down. Although I'm not sure that he's a relative to one of you guys. I kind of feel like he might have been a family friend or a neighbor. So do you guys understand this heavyset gentleman who had like multiple organ failure, who was blue collar, and again, like very like rough hands? Like he would have been a guy who was like really rough.
No, nothing for me.
Nothing for me.
Follows. So when he gives me something, what did you guys just do? He just went
I
like,
just made the wire.
okay, sorry. I was
She
thinking it
probably
was
thinks
him.
it's from the spirit world.
That's exactly. So whenever I
Technical
do
malfunction. She's
I'll
over
do-
here freaking out.
right, I'll do gallery demonstrations and something will happen, and I'll go, "Was that inside or outside, people?" And I always have to get buy-in because I never really know. And so this guy, he made me feel like he was very blue collar. So this means he could have been, in the construction field or a bricklayer or worked in the steel factory, but he was heavy set, not real heavy set, but like I want to call him barrel chested. And there's something about an M name, either Michael or Matthew, but there's an M name in connection to him. And this could be his son, it could be him, it could be his brother for all I know, but he gives me the M connection, please.
Yeah, nothing
You
for
just
me.
don't know.
Sorry, Marjorie. We want to connect.
Yeah.
We want to see what's going on. We've got to move past him.
Okay. Well, he's not going away. I see. Here we go.
Any
Because she's
chance-
in the room.
Any chance it's her?
Come on, honey.
Come on, Dutch.
Oh, a guest appearance.
Sometimes that happens too. So tell me how you understood the things that I said.
Well, my grandfather, he was a hardworking man, and towards the end of his life, he went into a coma for 10 years.
That would make him very immobile. And what was his first name?
His first name was Paul.
Okay. And where would the M name come in connection to him?
His last name?
Yeah.
Mishkov.
Oh, thank you very, very much. And then also, will you tell me just one other thing? And that would be about the multiple organ failure.
I really can't tell you much there. He was just in a coma and was bedridden for 10 years, so there
Okay.
were failures, but I'm not too sure about.
I will ask for some more information and for something else that might pertain to him, if that's okay. Not from you, but from him. You looked at me like, well, what else am I supposed to tell you? Okay.
That's all I got.
No, so this is what happens inside for me. He gives me this feeling like his physical strength, when it diminished, like before he was sick and bedridden, his physical strength when it diminished was a thorn in his side. Like he hated the fact that he couldn't take care of the family the way he once had, and everybody would understand this. It like made him cranky and a bad patient.
Sounds like the Russian family.
Well, from what I was told, he wasn't the nicest man.
See? Yeah. Well, thank you. I can totally understand that because that's how he comes across, as how he remembers himself. Do you see? But he also gives me his feelings of like, well, I did the best that I could. I just don't necessarily think he was trained perhaps to be smooth. He was always rough around the edges. It was kind of like his calling card. Do you see? I don't know what happens when we pass away, but I do know, I don't know everything, but I do know that when we get there, we have the opportunity to do some sort of retrospective about how our actions affected those that we were supposed to love. And how he comes through to me is just that I wish I had left a better legacy or a better way for people to have remembered me. So if you wouldn't mind to pass along the message that he's okay, he's in a much better place, and he's very peaceful, it would be helpful to him. Okay?
I will.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay.
Thank you.
That's it. Okay. Let's see where we go. So I see next a gentleman, and he shows me himself being in a military uniform. So this man who comes through was a veteran for at least part of his life. And I don't think that he would have retired from, like made a lifelong military career or what have you. But he showed me him being in a uniform. And then he made me feel like he would have had like some other sort of job, and he would have had a family. And then he was giving me some sort of a connection to a C initial.
My grandfather's name was Carl.
Thank you very much, because I was going to say Charles or Carl. Okay, and this is the thing that he made me feel almost was like I had to give you salutes because he's like, I missed you so much, okay? And then he made me feel like connected to you in several different ways because he's like, he goes to protect you wherever you go. And he said that you are, that you like to push the envelope, that you're like, you like to like live a little on the edge.
Get that.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's so funny. And then the thing that he had said was because you like to live on the edge, he has to like, you keep him busy. Right?
That's funny.
And so I think that I saw a bumper sticker once that said, never drive faster than your angels can fly. Okay? So, yeah, not slow down so much, but just be aware that someone's trying to tail you at all times. Yeah. And so that he goes with you. Okay?
Okay.
And then, and thank you very much, because he made me feel like you have a similar spirit to him. Like, people have probably told you you're a lot like your granddad.
It's funny because I never actually got to meet him. He died like a few months before I was born, so I've only ever just seen pictures and anything of him. So
that's the same thing that happened with me and my granddad. He passed away before I was born, but I feel like I know him really well. And this guy, he's very proud of you, so I'll give you
awesome.
That. All right, so the next person is also a gentleman, but he's a next gentleman. He's a younger gentleman. And wow. So it's funny because I think either he had alopecia or he lost all of his hair. And he's like, I didn't have alopecia. He just lost all of his hair. I'm going to say I think this is either leukemia or cancer of some sort. And
I knew exactly.
Yeah, we think we know who this is.
We know who.
oh my God.
I think you got this one.
All right, so I'm going to continue on and
Careful,
listen
he's
to
kind
him.
of a jerk.
Yeah, go
What?
for it.
No, wait, don't say that because he's joking that he's the jerk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
that's
what
what
we
we
did.
Yeah, that's exactly what I meant.
He said, okay, so a couple of things. He said that he was a team. We were a team. And so that means that you guys worked together in some capacity or you acted as a team in some community. And he said he still has your back. But he made me feel like it was probably even more than one team. You guys understand this, right?
I think I do.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to assume at this point you're referring to my cousin Ryan, who he just passed away with cancer, and he lost
Lose his hair. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yep,
we
his
actually have
eyebrows.
Okay.
Never Retreat Foundation dedicated to him, but
Okay, so this is what he just said. Thank you for validating that. And so he said a couple of things. He said, oh, man. Okay, so he said that his, not reputation, but his legacy is very important to you. Like it was a bonding sort of thing. Like he inspired people.
Yeah.
And he said that he said it's funny how you do like stupid shit together when you're a kid. And then he's like, and then you grow up, and he said, and I'm still the one that's the coolest.
That sounds just like him.
He's very, very funny.
He used to love to say, let's get weird.
I have that on a T-shirt.
Oh, really?
I do. He's super cute. Now, I have to talk about his... So, I don't know if he, like Steve, has tattoos or had tattoos, but he's showing me tattoos. I can get tattoo speak. I mean, I got them too. But he's making me understand that with him, correct?
yes, he does. He has tattoos.
And he got one when he was sick.
He sure did. And a lot of other people got tattoos as well in memory of his name.
Thank you very, very much. Okay, he makes me feel like you guys need to know that when we go into the spirit world, we don't take our bodies with us. You know, it's just kind of like the same thing that they say about the cars. You can't take it with you. And so if you don't take your body with you, you also don't take suffering with you. So he's okay. He's okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Marjorie.
You're welcome. He said to tell you that, you know, he's funny. He said,
Ryan can make
he
people
went like
laugh
this.
after
He was like, I
passes
got my eye on them. And he was like, tell them, and especially when they're doing things they're not supposed to be doing. And then he said, have a big beer for him. And he said this will make him so excited because he wishes that he could be here and go drinking with you. And he said, oh, yeah, there you go. You have a beer right now. Yeah, have that.
We
for
got your
him.
eye.
Yeah.
Here's to you, Rye. Cheers, buddy.
He said, you know, God gives us proof of his existence all the time, and it comes through beer. Beer, pizza, and women. So there you go.
That sounds about right.
Mm-hmm.
I guess there's no way I could talk to him.
You're talking to him now. You can tell him anything you want. He can hear you.
Just tell him he's a jerk.
That's not what you were gonna say.
Reverend Marjorie. Tell him he's a jerk and that I and the rest of his family, especially his mother, father, sister, and brother, miss him dearly.
Thank you so
And
much.
tell him that I don't miss him even a little bit. Don't know what I mean.
Okay, I'll tell him. Well, so he can hear you, and that's the whole thing. Is that, and one of the things that I would love to have you guys know is that your spirit people are around you probably way more frequently than you think. And they'll often tell me things that you've done, tell me things that you're doing, and tell me things that you're going to do, which I always find absolutely fascinating, because I think that because they're in a different place and a higher vibration than we are, have a higher perspective than we do. And so lots of times they'll tell me things that you don't even know yet. And I'll be like, that's so cool. And then in this particular case, one of the things that he was making me feel is that you guys... it was almost like I'm in the car and I'm listening to all this radio, all the music on the radio. And I know we're on the radio here too in some capacity. It's a like different capacity, but like he was making me feel like you should hear him in your music. And then...
Oh, wow. Come on.
Oh, wow.
Come on. Ryan was in a band. He was in several bands. He wrote all his music. He was super talented.
Thank you.
And we listen to his music every time we go to one of his events or parties. And
Awesome.
everything like that.
I love that about him.
You are something special, Marjorie. I don't. Either that or one hell of a con artist. I can't tell, but you seem like you know what you're doing, and you are sending
unreal
chills
Crazy.
up and down my spine.
Well, some people have a better communication ability than I would say others do. Just like when you walk into a party and there's a whole bunch of people in a room and you see one person across the room and you're like, man, that's my friend right there, you know? And then you go and you talk to them and you're like, at the end of the night, you're like, we're friends forever. Like some people are like that in their spirit bodies as well. They come and they just start talking to you and you understand them right away.
That's exactly how they all met me same day. They said, dude, you're my friend. And then they said, dude, you're my friend forever. And look, they keep sticking around.
I've never said either of those.
That's 100% false.
Let's bring back Ryan. I like talking to him a little better.
He has a thought that he wanted to share is that he often goes in the car with you guys. So I don't care where it is that you're going. He likes to tag along. And because he has a bit of a nebby side to him, this is how he catches up with you guys. And then he says that when you get there, he'll be there waiting for you. Just so you know.
Unbelievable. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you, Marjorie.
Amazing.
Okay. So,
If you get me one more time, I'm going to cry. So if you could, literally anybody else, please.
it is my entire mission in life is to make the boys cry.
Please do. I'll give you extra money to make him cry.
Get a little tear
Can't
there.
tell if that's from your super good looks or your.
So I will ask for the next person, and this is what I feel. So I make connection to a woman, and you guys haven't been very receptive to the only other woman that I brought through so far.
Well, women don't like us.
Yeah.
Well, no. But this woman does, and she makes me feel like she is someone here's aunt, and she has a very gentle, sweet kind of nature to her. And I feel like I have a connection to an M name with her. So it could be Martha or Marietta or something like this. But she has the M name connection to her. And she is very, very big-hearted. Like, I feel like she would do anything for anybody. But she also has a little bit of, like, a sassy attitude to her. And I'm not entirely sure how she passed away. She's not giving me that yet. So she's one of these people who you kind of have to, like, earn her trust before she's going to spill the beans. So who connects
It could be
to
my great Aunt Mary.
your great Aunt Mary? So let me tell you that if this is your great Aunt Mary who I'm connecting to, she literally made me feel like there was something sitting on my chest. And so I don't know if that meant that she had heart problems or she had a heart attack or something like that,
that's how she
congestive
passed.
heart failure.
Yeah.
Thank you. And that then also she has a bit of a funny attitude. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
she makes
She's a
me
bit of a
feel
character.
Yeah, like her personality is much bigger than her body. And the way that she comes across is like she was always telling somebody what to do.
Yeah, that was her.
Thank you
She was
very
a,
much.
She was a sassy little Dago lady.
Yes, that's exactly how she feels. She gives me her connection to you in that she says that she worries about you a lot because that's her thing, you know?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, so like when she was here, she would have been like, you know, now you make sure you eat every night and you go to bed by 9 o'clock because you've got to get some sleep.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, and she's still a little bit that way there, too. And I want to tell you that everything about her, she's giving me her blessings for you because she's saying that you are a guy who loves to have fun and that, you know, basically you try really hard, like you work hard so that you can play hard. But mainly, it's like, you know how people have that attitude, like, you know, I live to work or I work to live? She's
Yeah.
saying you work to live.
Yeah,
Okay. And that everything that you do is so that you can get to the weekend.
pretty much, yeah.
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 Or just the middle of the week.
At this point,
beginning of the week.
At this point, Tuesday.
Yeah, right.
So, as she said, to tell you that you come from a whole line of people who are just kind of the same way. Like, they were hard workers, but mainly it was because they wanted to be able to get to the point where they could do nothing.
Yep.
Yeah. And so she said...
Unfortunately, not many of them made it.
Right, exactly. And she said to tell you that she loves you and that she misses you. Okay?
Thank you.
You're very, very welcome. So I'll tell you one little thing before I move on to hopefully what will be Darius's person.
Yeah.
Is that when they come from the spirit side, I don't always see what they look like. Sometimes I see them, sometimes I feel them, sometimes I hear them, and sometimes I just know that they're there. In this particular case, she made me see aspects of her, but mainly she made me see what she wanted to say to you, which is always kind of an interesting experience to me because they never say, like, they don't lean in and go, oh, my name is Mary. They lean in and they give me an M in my belly. Like, she made me see the M right here. And it's the weirdest feeling, but it's kind of cool at the same time.
Yeah, that's a little creepy. Cool, but creepy.
Cool but creepy. That's the story of my life.
That should be Sean's nickname in high school.
That should be your tagline, really. Cool but creepy.
Cool but creepy. So, okay, let's go to the last person who I think may be for Darius. We'll see how it goes. Or you might not get one today.
Oh, man.
We'll see how
Might
it
be
goes.
that guy.
Well, and I'll tell you one thing. Lots of times what happens is when I go to like parties and I do personal sessions and stuff, because I'm on a somewhat limited schedule and I only have a certain amount of time to get to like one person or another person, because everybody has somebody that they're thinking about talking to. So I'll bring through the first one or two people, and I'll go, if these people are too far back from your family tree and you don't want to talk to them, then that's okay. And then if there was somebody that you were hoping to hear from, I'll snag them. For me, the process is just about the same, because if you think of them or they come to me, it doesn't matter because they're all here. So what happens to me is then I start to feel something about them, and then they'll let me convey, something that they want to show you, okay? And what she did in my mind, as soon as you said some sort of reference to her, was that she made me feel like she was just literally the strongest woman. Like she could take on anything. And she made me feel like more often than not, even up until the time that she passed, like you would be able to ask her for anything, and she would always make sure that you had what you needed.
Yep.
And she said
that nail. Yeah, that is right there.
Yeah. And I don't know why she just showed me just like in a lighthearted way, smacking you in the back of your head.
I mean, I was bad back in the day.
No, that was actually me. I smacked him right in the back of the head.
She made me feel like she was somewhat strict with you.
Yep. Yeah, that is true.
And that she really placed a focus on your education or what have you, and she didn't want you to be a stereotype or something. Like she wanted you to make something of yourself.
Yeah, I agree there. Yeah, she definitely put me through, made
The
sure I
ringer.
got through school, got through college, and got a job and everything.
Yeah. And she also made me feel like she wanted you to know that she knows like what you're doing in your life, and that she's very happy for you, and that she is around you every day, all the time. And then she put down these beautiful little roses in front of me and made some sort of connection that you would understand, like her and the flowers or her and the roses. Please, what is that, please?
The what are they called now? I'm trying to remember. They're
Flowers.
flowers, yes, but there are certain.
She just said the word there.
They're the white color petals, like the off cream white color.
Where you blow them and they blow.
Wait, you just said it.
Lilies?
Yes,
Lilies.
Yeah,
What about the lilies?
That was just her favorite style of flowers, like the color, and just there was always lilies around all the time.
Thank you. So oftentimes you may smell them when she's around. That's what she's saying. You'll smell her flowers when she comes to visit with you. Okay? So pay attention, because if all of a sudden you just have this like, just tiny little memory of a whiff of flowers in your head, don't go, did somebody turn on an air freshener? Just be like, that's my mom coming to visit. Okay? And she was showing me herself dancing. So I don't know why you would associate her to dancing, but this is what she showed me.
Yeah, she was a dancer at weddings all the time.
She cut a mean rug.
Yeah,
She did circles around her son Darius.
Made sure she was a show, the party all the time.
Thank you very much. She still is. And so she tells me to give you her kisses and her love. Okay?
Thank you.
And thank you. Okay, fellas.
That was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Marjorie, I can't thank you enough. You got like 10 more minutes to stick around and we can ask you a couple questions?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. I know you had pet allergies, I heard.
Oh, yeah.
So I do have a black cat, but I killed her. She's dead now.
Good thing, because I would have had to do it when I got here.
So if you picked up any loud squealing, that may have been tipsy. How's Sparkle, by the way? You have a you almost spit water out right
I
there.
almost did. Yeah, Sparkle is my little dog. She's good.
And Pat just told me. I was like, well, she has allergies, but she has a dog. But Pat, what?
Are poodles hypoallergenic?
They
'Cause
are.
It's hair, not fur.
They are. That's exactly why.
I watch a lot of Animal Planet.
So I read you were born into a family of healers, shaman, medicine women. What was life like for you growing up in Panama?
Well, I grew up here, so life growing up in Panama was pretty non-existent.
Good job. Good job, John.
Here.
That was from a website you created, but what do I know,
Way to
right?
do your research.
So my family, I had great connection to my family, but I lived here. Like my dad is.
Where were you born?
I was born in Panama.
Okay.
Yeah, but my family is still there.
Okay. So you
And-
moved to here
Precisely.
very quickly.
All by myself at like 2 years old with my packages. And they just sent me
You
to
don't have to
live
hurt
with
me,
the
Marjorie.
wolves.
They just trying to understand you.
They just put her on a burro and send her north.
Right, exactly. That was me and the burro. We headed up here, and then I just started selling coffee beans on the
Cocaine.
That was a legitimate question.
That was an illegitimate question.
It was funny. I don't mean to be irreverent, but I do.
Irreverent. I see what you did there.
Wow.
Because you're oh, you're good, you.
Can we
You're
replace
good.
Sean with Marjorie from now on?
Seriously.
All right, how about this?
Okay,
When did you first know you had the gift?
I was 5.
And were you scared? Were you panicked? Were you
No.
happy? What?
Well, okay, so my grandmother, so like, two sides of your family. My dad's family is Irish Catholic, and my mother's family is Kuna Indian. And so all through
Perfect mixture.
Bipolar. So we, my mom's family, like it all was on her side of the family. And then we come here to live with my dad's family. And my great grandma passed away when I was 5. And everybody was so sad. And we had to go to the funeral. And I'm standing there and I'm like, why are you guys so sad? She's right there.
Oh man.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
That sounds like a movie.
Yeah, so I could see her and talk to her, and then she would come to me and talk to me about all the different members of her family and who I could trust and who to stay away from and who drank too much and who was fighting in the bathroom, all that kind of stuff. Like it was an interesting way to grow up, to always kind of have like a heads up on what was going to happen.
That's insane. Okay,
wild.
can we get all the immature end of the questions out of the way? Just to separate you from like the
All the-
psychics we think
All
about.
the amateur hour questions.
Right,
Trio.
exactly.
Okay.
All right, how about this one? Why don't you just get the lottery numbers and become a millionaire? I bet you've never heard that before.
That was funny because I was talking to my one friend about that on the way here, as a matter of fact. She
And
said,
you knew he was going to ask you
Oh,
that.
I know. I know. I got a little clairvoyance myself,
she
actually.
said, what would you do if you won the lottery? And I said, I wouldn't do anything different. My life would not change in any shape or form because it is exactly how I want it to be.
I bet she would turn us down in a heartbeat if she won the lottery. All right, how about this one? Can you read minds? I bet you get that a lot.
No, I don't think I can, and I'll tell you why. Because I think, first off, I probably wouldn't want to,
Yeah.
And
Especially his mind. He's been thinking about child pornography since he sat down there.
right.
Since I was born.
It is because I look like a child. I understand that. But
The youthful good looks gets me every time.
How do we make her a permanent part of this?
Yeah.
All right, do you use a crystal ball?
sometimes I like them.
No shit.
I do. They're really cool. If you've ever looked at them, they're fascinating and they're really beautiful.
Do you see things in them?
No, I mean I just kind of look.
It's just for
I
show.
Right,
Yeah.
it
It's just
is.
like a
I
Christmas
just look,
ornament.
I just look at it and go, "Oh, I think this is what's going to happen." Like it's just a prop.
Fair enough. What are your thoughts on the Ouija board?
I have a T-shirt that says "The Amazing Magical Mystifier" or something like that, but I'd never used one.
You've never used one, or you never will use one.
I never have, and I never will.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think that they kind of are a portal to like what can be really negative.
Oh, yeah.
And the people that come to me, I have a parameter that's set that if you're going to come to me, it has to be about healing. It has to be that you want to tell somebody that you love them, or that, there's some continued reason to talk, like not just to come to scare somebody. I wouldn't want to do that.
Have any of the spirits tried to get around that and do bad things, or
I am
like say bad things?
Very bossy.
Okay.
So,
So you're like, nah, hold up.
No,
Right.
not happening.
right,
No.
right. And I have a husband
that outta
that's
here.
somewhat like a pit bull.
Come through.
Yeah. You're like the
No,
guy at the front of the club with the list. Oh, sorry.
Exactly.
I don't see your name on
Right.
here. Out of here.
Right. Exactly. So they don't really bother me.
Okay, do you ever get surprised, or is that completely ruined for you?
I hate surprises. Right?
So,
Because I feel like if you surprised me, you got under my radar, and then it'll piss me off.
They snuck
and I'll be
through.
like,
They didn't.
"What did
They
you
weren't on the
do?"
list, and they got through.
Right. So exactly, that's why.
Skeptics,
Okay.
probably surrounded by them. Maybe even a few here. Maybe not anymore. I'm glad we decided to wait till after to do these questions. But I would imagine this makes your job difficult at some point. How do you deal with those kind of people? You just
I've had to deal with them,
I'm sure.
and I know that there are lots of people who are skeptical, and I have to have a healthy sense of skepticism as well. And then I think about people who do jobs like electricians and plumbers and computer programmers or coders or people like that who do things that I have no idea what the hell they're doing.
did you just nailed all of our jobs?
yeah.
Yeah.
Right through all of us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Did you mean to do that? Because now you're just freaking us out.
So, you guys all do things that I can't do, and everybody has a skill, and everybody, I could say, I don't understand how current electricity works. I don't understand how when you turn the flip on the switch, it works. And so I don't believe in that shit. Do you see what I'm saying?
That makes sense.
It's
yeah.
just
Yeah.
as easy.
I don't believe in it either.
Right, exactly.
We tend to not believe in things we don't understand.
Right, exactly. That's the whole premise of it all. And so when I've been doing this for 20 years now, and it's my only job, and it's been a wonderful way to make a living, helping people understand what I do. So I try to make it as transparent as possible so that it demystifies it.
We're certainly going to get your name out there. You've been doing it since 2000, correct? You were doing it full time.
I've been doing it full time
Since
since then.
2000. Okay.
Yeah.
I have to imagine as a positive effect on the people that you know and love, but it's got to have some negative effects.
Yes, my sister refuses to play trivia games with me. Because she calls it the psychic shout out. She'll go, "Do not even dare to roll your eyes, because that's when you're doing it. I know it." And then she won't play with me. Ever.
funny.
I wouldn't play with you either. That's insane. That's cheating. That is complete cheating.
No, I've read the rules of Trivial Pursuit. Nothing
There's
says you can't
nothing
contact the
there
spirit world.
Yeah,
It's not in there, so
Some
It's
weird
not
ask the audience, I guess. And how about relationships? Does it interfere with that? I mean, your significant other or your date says, "Hey, I'm going to make something. My band's going to make it someday." You're like, "No,
Yeah.
that's actually
yeah,
not."
guess what? No.
So I was married once, and when I met my husband, I told him, what I do and everything. And then I thought to myself a little bit later, who marries a psychic and then thinks that they're slick enough to cheat?
No way.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. So either he thought I wasn't what I said I was, or he thought he was an escape artist.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but you have to admit it's kind of funny when he says, "I'm going to the gym." You're like, come on.
Yeah.
Hey,
What do you think
no,
I
you're
am?
not.
Jim means Bonnie. So
And his name was Jim. That's weird. So is it something that you can kind of turn off? Like, I imagine there's times where you don't want spirits contacting you.
yeah, that is probably the most frequent question that I get, and the answer to that is the same thing as I said about how do I maintain balance in my life. It's kind of because I'm bossy.
Okay.
And so if a spirit was trying to talk to me and I was in the shower, I'd be like, come on.
Give me
Yeah.
5 minutes.
Yeah,
Right,
Come
yeah.
on.
Relax.
Later. This is my house, you creep. I deserve a little privacy. So
That's like whenever a spider tries to come down from the ceiling and you're in the shower, you're like, no,
right,
not right now. Please.
No.
Please.
no.
Yeah.
I got time for that.
So my last question, unless you guys have anything, is if you could turn it off forever, would you do it?
I think I'm grossly underqualified to do anything else. So, probably don't want to cut off my
That might be the
stream
most,
of income.
that's the most honest answer to any question I've ever heard.
I mean, I've tried to have other jobs. I just really suck at it. So I'll stick with this.
Great answer.
Yeah.
Marjorie, you're amazing. You got 5 more minutes for us?
Sure.
Okay, we're going to play a quick game. It's called Fact or Fucked. Can we say that with
It's
Reverend?
F-U-C-T.
F-
Yeah, it's FUCT, so it's not
So
actually.
it's
blood.
adorable. It's
Like
not.
fuck tape.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Marjorie.
She knew you were
You're
going
a
to
damn
say
genius.
that.
So we're going to play a very psychic-inspired version of Fact or
So
FUCT.
does that mean we have to
Okay.
guess the question?
Fucked.
This is
Jeopardy now.
like psychic Jeopardy,
is-
right?
So we're going to play Marjorie versus you guys. Okay?
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
geez. She's
Marjorie and
playing now.
Darius. Marjorie and
That's what you're
Darius.
gonna ask her already.
Oh, do you already know these? Okay, you just go ahead.
Okay, here's the answer.
A jar of almonds.
7 furry
No.
rabbits
I made
and
these.
limoncello.
I made these all very psychic proof, so you
Okay.
couldn't read them.
Okay.
Darius,
So I'll answer first.
you
okay.
answer first. Darius, the first appearance of the word "boo" in print was in 1738, in which author Gilbert Croack defines it as a word that is used in North Scotland to frighten crying children. Fact or fucked?
I'm going to go fact.
What do you think, Marjorie?
I think it's fucked.
It's fact.
Oh.
Wow.
I never get the first one right.
Superheroes 1, psychic 0.
He never gets these right, and he beats the psychic.
He has
Yeah, that's
never.
awesome.
He has never gotten one right since he
He's
started playing
really,
this game.
he's
I think
more
I
in
was
tune
over-
with the boo. That's what it is. That's what it was. It scared me.
The word psychic is derived from the Greek word psychikos, which means of the mind or mental.
I'm already going to say fucked. Just because you couldn't pronounce it.
Just because you can pronounce it. Okay, let me put my... Let's see.
What does that say?
If it's not in Greek letters, it's not Greek.
Psychikos, yeah.
Psychikos, which means of the mind or mental. He says fucked. What do you say?
Fact.
That is a fact.
Oh.
Of course, the psychic
dang.
would know that.
I
one.
forgot you can't read.
Tied up.
That's where the psychics were born.
Tied up
It was in
1-1.
Delphi in Greece.
All right, tied up 1-1. Steve,
Boy, here we go.
in the most common decks of tarot cards, the suits.
Did you say tarot?
Tarot cards. The suits exist as earth, wind, water, fire, and heart, eventually giving birth to the planetary elements on Captain Planet and the Planeteers, leading to a later debunked belief that its creators, Ted Turner and Barbara Pyle, were involved in the occult.
Oh, damn
I
it.
just want to say fucked because Captain Planet's involved.
Fucked. What did
I
you
don't
say?
even know what any of that meant. All I heard was tarot card, and then it was gone.
Well, both of you are right. It's fucked anyway.
Funny.
Darius. The phenomenon whereby a thought or mental image brings about a seemingly reflexive or automatic muscular reaction, potentially outside of the awareness, is called ideometer. This response has often been attributed to automatic writing or the Ouija board. Fact or fucked? Once again, the word is ideometer, and it's a reflexive response.
Can I get the country of origin?
Panama.
I see what you did there.
I think I'm going to go with fact.
Marjorie, what do you think?
I go with the opposite.
It is fact.
All right, Darius,
Wow.
2-0
Fact, yes.
tonight.
He's a
My actual-
flipper.
He's an idiot.
He's
I don't
a
even know how
he's
he's
a
beating.
flipper.
Is
How'd you
tonight
know?
opposite
I was
night?
actually
What's
going to go
going on?
fucked.
See, I definitely wanted to
So
go
that was
there.
the science behind the Ouija board, by the way. Okay, Pat. John Edward McGee Jr., professionally known as John Edward, from Crossing Over with John Edward, worked as a phlebotomist and ballroom dancing instructor before becoming a renowned physical medium.
I'm going to go with fact just because I like phlebotomist.
Or maybe because Marjorie's been shaking her head for the
Yes,
last 3 years.
yes, absolutely fact.
Yep.
I actually used to watch that show all the time.
And James Von Prague was an actor.
That
Everybody had a career before.
is fact. Unbelievable. Okay. Steve, you ready?
I'm ready.
The monsters or ghosts from the popular 1980s arcade game Pac-Man are nicknamed Icky, Sticky, Hickey, and Goo. Fact or fucked?
Fucked.
Fucked.
I am with him.
They are fucked.
Because Pinky is one of them.
It's Blinky, Pinky, Inky, and Clyde, actually.
See?
Everyone always forgets Clyde.
Clyde.
Last three, and then we're going to let Marjorie go.
All right.
We'll start with Marjorie on this one. Interred in nearby cemetery, Zona Hester Shue. Her death in 1897 was presumed natural until her spirit appeared to her mother to describe how she was killed by her husband, Edward. Autopsy on the exhumed body verified the apparition's account. Edward, found guilty of murder, was sentenced to the state prison, only case in which testimony from a ghost helped convict a murder. Fact or fact?
What year was this?
1897.
No.
Darius?
I want to say no too. I'm gonna agree with
That
her.
is a fact. Not only is that a fact, but what I just read what I read right there is imprinted on her tombstone.
The entire
The
thing.
entire thing I just read is right above her tombstone.
That just blew my mind. How did they have exhumation process in the 1800s?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No, they definitely did. No, I actually read the story, and if you look it up yourself, don't believe me. Look it up yourself.
I never
I'm
have.
taking a vote. Do you guys believe him?
Normally,
I don't
no,
ever
but
believe
this
him.
one I do.
I don't lie on these things. Marjorie.
Wouldn't you know if he was lying?
It seems too wild to be true.
Yeah, but it's also too clever for him to make up. So.
Yeah, that's probably
very true.
true.
There's a lot in that question there.
I don't like that you guys hurt me all the time. All the time. Podcasting is hard. Last two.
Hashtag podcasting is hard.
Pat, you go first. The term ghost dates
Comes
back
from the Greek.
to the 12th century. That comes from the related German word Geist, meaning spirit.
Yes. Oops. Sorry.
Hold on, I don't know if I... Okay, fact.
She's given you every answer so far.
Except for the first one, and I missed it.
It's like she knows.
Because I was thinking about poltergeist. You know, to them is a bad ghost.
Is that German?
And
Action
maybe,
again.
maybe I speak Deutsch.
Yeah.
Last one, Steve. Good luck to you.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Well, let Steve go first.
Let Marjorie answer, yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
you let Marjorie answer.
Trust me, it's a lot easier if she answers first.
You just watch me and then you can say it.
Marjorie.
What?
The art or process of seeing images claimed to be seen in crystals or crystal balls is known as scrying.
Clairvoyance. Or scrying, yeah.
Fact.
Okay.
That's it,
See, I
guys.
told you.
We are wrapping this up. Huge thank you to Reverend Marjorie.
Absolutely. Thank you very
thank you.
much.
That was
Guys,
great.
thank you so
Very
much
great.
for coming. This was awesome.
I had a good time.
Is there any? Can you plug anything for yourself coming up that we can come and see you here in Pittsburgh?
Oh, I'm doing the James Street Speakeasy on Wednesday night. It's like like a demonstration of mediumship. So I'll bring readings to many people in the crowd.
That's amazing. So it's open to anybody. They just come in there and
Everybody, yeah.
just throw it out there. And where can we find you online? Twitter? Things like that?
www.pittsburghmedium.com. Pretty easy.
And your Twitter handle?
I don't know.
It's actually, I think it's actually PGH Medium.
PGH
That
Medium.
sounds like something that
Well, that's what you tweeted earlier, at least.
Yeah, we just
Yeah,
looked
it's
you up.
at PGH Medium.
PGH Medium. Guys,
Yeah.
please check her out. Obviously, if you can't tell from this, she was awesome and super accurate and connected
Yeah,
to
nailed it.
every single one of us here. If you want to find out more about the Weekend Superheroes, you can find us at weekendsuperheroes.com. You can find us on facebook.com/Weekend Superheroes. Our Twitter handle is WKND superheroes.com. You can find us on iTunes.
Minus the .com on that.
Every time.
Almost had it.
Find us on iTunes, Google Play, I think it's Google Play Music, YouTube, Spreaker,
Stitcher.
all the media outlets. Guys, would you like to say goodbye to everyone out there?
Yeah. See you later, everybody.
Thank you, Marjorie, guys.
Goodbye, ladies.
There it is.
Goodbye, gentlemen.
Peace.
And always remember to podcast responsibly.